Okay, good morning all. Okay, so first you comment whether am I audible to you or not, is my voice coming properly or not, then we'll start. Okay. So how many people have joined us? Am I audible to you all? Okay, so yesterday we did periodic table. Good morning all, good morning. Let the people join, then we'll go start. Okay, so to all those people who have solved periodic table exercises, do you have doubts? If you have doubts, you can tell me. We'll clear all your doubts. Any doubts? Question number 6. The reduction in atomic size with increase in atomic number is a characteristic of elements of. Okay, what this happens is, if you are taken S block, the size decreases. If you taken P block, size decreases, but that it will increase for inert gases. Okay, so now in those cases, S and P block, it is not the option. Now next option is D block, F block, radioactive series, high atomic masses. Okay, sorry, question number 6, right? Okay, so question number, now what happens is, in a D block, the size goes like this, size order. Atomic size versus atomic number. First it decreases, then it becomes constant, that increases. This scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc. So in this case, size decreases, then become constant, then increases. So it is also not the D block. Now in the case of F block, what happens is, on moving from size, this is for D block, size and atomic number, then it decreases continuously, gradually. So the answer is F block. Then after this, question number 7, the correct order of ionic radius. Now this is the correct order of F only. This is lanthanide elements. Lanthanide element. This is question number 7 now. Okay, that is question number 6. In lanthanide elements, we get cerium, then we get samarium, then we get terbidium, then we get lutetium. So on moving from left to right, in F block, size decreases, so the maximum size for this order.
After 7, question number 13 also. 13 question is the ionization potential of Na would be numerically same as. So now what happens is question number 13. The IE of Na. The IE of Na is same as Ea of Na plus. In this case, you can write reaction like this. Na gives out to Na plus electron. This delta H is known as IE. But if you write the reverse reaction, Na plus E gives rise to Na. This delta H is known as Ea. So both are in same in magnitude but reverse in sign. Then question number 18. Question number 18. Arrange in order of increasing basic characters. Okay. Arrange in order of basic characters. So now this is question number 18. 18 question is on moving from left to right, basicity decreases. On moving top to bottom, basicity increases. Then question number 14. The highest ionization potential will be shown by the series. Question number 14. What is this value? IE1 is less than, IE2 is less than, IE3 is less than, IE4 is less than, IE5 is less than, IE6 is less than, IE7. Okay. Right. So now what happens is will be shown by the species Mn2 plus. Mn2 is here. Because you will remove third electron from Mn2. Mn0 is here. Then Mn4 plus. So here Mn4 plus. And there it is Mn6 plus. So which has maximum? Mn6 plus. Then question number 20. A sudden jump between the value of second and third ionization energy of an element would be associated with the electron. Okay, so next question is 20. Okay. The sudden jump between the value of second and third ionization enthalpy. So what they are saying is IE3 is much greater than IE2. This is possible when third electron belongs to inner shell, whereas second electron belongs to outermost shell. It means what? It means you need to find whichever sudden jump you want to have. For that sudden jump, it means that the previous electron belongs to outermost only. So you want third electron to belongs to inner shell. So if you look at the 3s1, so one electron belongs to outermost, second electron belongs to inner shell, which is not the correct. In case of B also, first electron belongs to outermost, second belongs to inner shell. Third, 4 electron belongs to outermost shell. But in the case of D, where it is written as 2p6, 3s2. So 2 electron belongs to outermost shell and 2p6. So now third electron belongs to inner shell. So D is your correct option. Okay, this is question number 20. After that 22, right? This is 22. 22 is the first ionization potential or the ionization energy in electron volts of nitrogen and oxygen are respectively given by. Okay, that is very easy. Question number 22. They are asking nitrogen and oxygen. Now, all people tell me in nitrogen and oxygen, whose value is more? In nitrogen and oxygen, whose value is more? Which value? Ionization energy. So you will find that nitrogen is greater than ionization energy. 22 done. Then question number 54. Question number 54. the lanthanide contraction is responsible for the fact that zirconium and hafnium are having same size. So if you remember, I wrote say cerium here. Okay, then we wrote hafnium there. So because of this, here there was zirconium. So because of lanthanide contraction here, La was there. So because of lanthanide contraction, in epilogue size decreases, continuously size decreases. So zirconium and hafnium have the same size. So 54, zirconium is nearly same as hafnium size. Hafnium atomic size. Okay, this done then after this, after 54, question number 23. Question number 23. Which of the following ion has a maximum hydration energy? So 23 is lesser the size, greater the hydration, radius also greater the hydration energy. Lesser the size or greater the charge. So the answer becomes Li plus here. Then after 23 we get question number 31. Question number 31. The most basic oxide in the following, we can do like this. Same. This will be 31 question. 31 question same as this. Then question number 55. Which of the following factor may be regarded as the main cause of the lanthanide contraction? Because the size decreases because of the 5d and 4f electrons poor shielding. Poor shielding. So that is question number 55. And after 55 we have got last one, question number 40. Okay, question number 40. Which of the following statement is incorrect for an atom having electronic configuration 287? Now 287, question number, this is question number 40. Electronic configuration is 287. It means there are 17 electrons, which means chlorine atom. Chlorine atom, right? If you have chlorine atom, chlorine element, it forms a diatomic molecule, correct, because it forms Cl2. Next, it is a non-metal. Yes, chlorine is a non-metal. Next, its valency is 7. Yes, it can form 1, 3, 5, 7 bonds. It forms basic oxide. No. Left to right basicity of oxide decreases. So it forms acidic oxide. So the D correct option. After this, question number 45. The molecule with the highest percentage ionic character. Now, percentage ionic character we'll talk about in chemical modeling. Okay. In 45 question, I have to teach a concept which I'll teach today. Okay. Any other doubt? Any other doubt? To all people? All people? Sure? So we can proceed, right? Sam, do one by one. Okay, so once you don't have any doubts, we'll start our next chapter. Okay. What is our next chapter name? Our next chapter name is so what is our next chapter name? Chemical bonding. Right. Okay, so now the next chapter is our chemical bonding. So now when we go to chemical bonding, so there are three types of bonds. Bond is simply an interaction between an atom to other atom so that an atom can hold another atom. So there are three types of bonds. First one is known as covalent bond. Second one is known as coordinate bond. Third one is known as ionic bond. Right? So I'll give you the direct trick. How do I find? So ionic bond happens between metals and non-metals. You can find an ionic bond in all those cases where there is one metal and one non-metal. Covalent bond and coordinate bonds both are present between non-metal and non-metal. Understand? Both are present between non-metal and non-metal. So my question to you is, which bond is present between this? Metal and metal. Which bond is present here? So, metal, they have metallic bond. Okay, easy job. Now, this we use very less. These three we use too much. Okay, while we are using these two, we have to understand one more factor here, that here bonds are formed because of their one factor called covalency. Here bonds are formed because of their another thing called electrovalency. Understand the difference? One is called covalency, another one is called electrovalency. Right? Okay, so now, so when we talk about covalency and electrovalency, we should know them also. Then only we can draw some bonds. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you what are the valencies of these elements, so that when we want to form bonds, that many bonds will form. Okay, electrovalency for metals and non-metals, right? So lithium family electrovalency is 1. Then beryllium family is 2. Boron family is 3. Boron family is 3. Your homework, your question, next you have to do what? You have to tell me what are the elements in lithium family. Okay. What are the elements in beryllium family? What are the elements in boron family? So in your chat box, you write lithium, bracket, all the elements in lithium family, bracket close. The next one is beryllium, bracket, all the elements of beryllium family, bracket close. Next boron family, bracket, it's all element. Okay, do this task fast. And don't look in periodic table, okay? This work is done without looking in the periodic table, so that we can understand how much you have memorized it. Write fast. You have to write all three family, not simply lithium family. You do not listen or what? You have to write for all three family. Yes, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. Nidhi is correct. Gagan Gopal is correct. Devi Das is also correct. Anand Kumar is also correct. Boron family, boron, now write for boron family. Selene is also correct. Okay, right? Yes. So this basically forms an ionic compound. That's why I have written like this. Then we form boron. In that boron family, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium, those are metals. That's why. Then next one is carbon family. Carbon family, it is 4. Then nitrogen family. Nitrogen family, nitrogen will form 3, but remaining will form 5. Then after nitrogen, oxygen family. Now the oxygen family, oxygen will form 2 bonds, whereas sulfur can form 2, 4, 6. Okay. Then after oxygen, next one is halogen family. Fluorine will form 1 bond only, whereas chlorine can form 3, 5, 7 bonds. And inert gas do not form bonds, but you can have some compounds for xenon. Xenon. Okay, xenon valency will be 2, 4, 6, 8. Understand this all? Copied all? Right? So now we are going to form some compounds, okay? Because in the exam they won't ask you write theory for this, write theory for that. They will directly ask you what is the structure, right? So Try to draw the structure. Try to draw the structure of H2O. You need to understand how structure means. My question to you is, which atom is bonded to which atom? How they are bonded? Understand the question? Electrovalency is the black one, okay? Electrovalency is the black one, covalency is the blue one. Hydrogen atom is bonded to oxygen. Both, how they are bonded? Can you write? How they are bonded? Right. So if you draw them, oxygen is there. Now what happens is there are two hydrogens. So you should understand that oxygen valency is 2. It means oxygen can form 2 bonds. If oxygen can form 2 bonds, I can draw 2 bonds like this. But then I can keep like this also. What is incorrect in this structure? Tell me. What is incorrect in this structure? What is incorrect? H cannot have 2 bonds. Understand? Hydrogen cannot have 2 bonds. Hydrogen can form only 1 bond. That's why this structure is incorrect. So what will write? I have to draw 2 lines. But those 2 lines will not be with the same atom. One with hydrogen, one with hydrogen. Understand like this? And 2 hydrogen must also be present. Understood this? This is an easy, right? But I don't need simply this. I also need one more point. What is the point? I also need valence electron with them. So this is electrovalency, and this is called valence cell electron. So the same way here also. This is their covalency, and this is called valence cell electron. So both the things we need to memorize, okay? Savita Raju, oxygen did not attain a stable configuration. Correct. I have not drawn octet. I'll draw octet now. So this is 1. Lithium family will have 1 valence shell electron. Beryllium will have 2. Boron will have 3. Carbon will have 4. Nitrogen family will have 5 valence shell electron. Oxygen will have 6. Halogen will have 7. 8. Copy that side. Copied that side. This side all copied, right? Yes or no? This side copied. Try to read one time what you have written also. This all done, right? So once that is all done, then you come this side, okay? Now, okay, so now what happens is, I also want to find out the valence and electron here. So the oxygen has got how many oxygen? It got 6. So now what happens is each line carries one of oxygen, one of hydrogen. One of oxygen, one of hydrogen. One of oxygen, one of hydrogen. Okay. So now oxygen has got total 6. Out of the 2 are here. So 3, 4, 5, 6. Shall I draw some more for oxygen? Tell me now. Shall I draw some more for oxygen or not? Shall I draw more for oxygen or not? Right? So we should not draw. Now you see what is important. Okay. So whatever electrons are remaining, okay, whatever electrons are remaining, what we do? We take 2 electrons. We always take 2 electrons and we club them in a group. A balloon type shape we do. Understand? This is known as lone pair. This is known as lone pair. This is known as lone pair. Okay. So now in this case what we do is 1 bond, 2 bond and 2 lone pair. Okay. Like this I've done. Now you have to do this same thing. Whatever I've done here, you should do this for this case. Which case? And you should tell me how many lone pair now. So total 2 lone pair. Okay. So do it this for this compound. Do it for this NH3. Stop. Don't go much more, one extra step. You know also, but they are not correct completely. Okay, the shape is not bent. It doesn't have 3 lone pair. Do only the thing which I'm telling you to do right now. Okay, I'm telling you to draw this for like this for this compound. You need to draw nitrogen. You need to draw 3 hydrogen, right? Then you need to do nitrogen lone pair, valence electron, right? That way you do. Don't go much extra step, okay? Because I have to teach little bit, okay? So now what happens is I'll draw nitrogen. The nitrogen valency is 3. So it means I can draw 3 lines. Then hydrogen valency is 1, so I can do this. But then I also need to find out some lone pair, okay? So 1 electron, 2, 3. How many have it in nitrogen? So you all people tell me how many electron nitrogen has in valence shell? How many electron nitrogen has in valence shell? So it has 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I put it in one club and it will become 1 lone pair. Okay? Easy job. Next job is total number of lone pair So do it for H2SO4 total number of lone pair on all atoms. So you need to do it for all atoms, not only on one. You need to do it for all atoms. So tell me the value. How much value we get? 8 lone pair. Vimla, how 8 lone pair? Tell. Vimla, how 8 lone pair? Tell me. What is the logic you have used? So on all oxygen we get totally 8. Okay, so now I'll teach you how to solve this question, okay? So first off, did you draw the structure? Okay, draw a structure also. Then I'll help you. Structure. Draw a structure also. Okay, so now we'll see. So there is a sulfur. There is sulfur. One sulfur you got 4 oxygens. So there are oxygens also. So like this. We try to draw a structure which is more uniform inside, more uniform in nature, more uniform in geometry. So 4 sulfur I distributed like a corner wise. Then I got how many hydrogen? I got only 2 hydrogen. I don't have 4 hydrogen. So I can't give 4 hydrogen all side. Anyway, I need 2 oxygen side we can give hydrogen. This side, that side, it doesn't matter. Okay. Then what happens is this. Then what happens is you need to draw oxygen, hydrogen must be bonded. So one line, right? Then what happens is this all must be connected together. This all must be connected together. This all must be connected together. Okay, so now like this. Then oxygen valence is satisfied. Oxygen valence is satisfied. What about this oxygen? So this oxygen valence is 2, but it is forming only 1 bond, so I'll draw 2 more. Done. Then all valency are satisfied. Now I'll look for sulfur also. Is sulfur satisfied? So sulfur valence is 2, 4, 6. 2, 4, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It has got 6. Valency got satisfied. Now we'll talk about all the valency is satisfied. Now we'll talk about the number of electrons. Sulfur has 6 valence electron. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there is no lone pair on sulfur. Easy. Then we'll talk about oxygen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. Then I'm going to club them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hydrogen 1. Hydrogen 1. So it has got total 8 lone pair. It has got total 8 lone pair. Copy all this now fast. Copied? Right, copied? Okay, so the next question is, now before we go to next question, some more things I'll teach you, okay? What happens is this. If you have always single line, this is also known as single bond. Okay, this has one sigma bond. Okay, one sigma bond. But if you have two lines, the way I have drawn two lines here, this is known as double bond. This is known as double bond. Now double bond has two things. It has got one sigma bond and one pi bond. One pi bond. One pi bond. Then if you have three lines if you have, then what happens is it is known as triple bond. And in triple bond we get one sigma bond plus two pi bond. Now, how do I understand in the diagram? You memorize this, then this is sigma. One sigma. This is one sigma pi. One sigma pi. That's how we can memorize also. One sigma bond. This sigma, this is denotation of sigma, this is denotation of pi. So one double bond contains one sigma, one line, sigma, one line, pi. Three lines if you got, one sigma, one pi, two pi. And you will not get four lines together anywhere at all. Understand this point? You will not get four lines together at any distance. Okay. So now, the next question for you is this. H3PO4. What is the question? First you understand the question. First is, one is structure. Second is lone pair. Third one sigma bond pair. Fourth one is pi bond pair. You need to tell me all those four values. Start doing fast. Able to solve? You understood my concept question, right? you copy this also. Okay, this is important. How many people are trying? Tell me fast. How many people are trying this question? Okay, try fast. Okay, take your time, but don't take much time also. Eight lone pair, 4 sigma bond, only 4 sigma bond. Chikka Paya, the number of sigma bond is incorrect. There are more sigma bonds. Shall I solve or you want more time? Do you want more time or done? Done. Shall I solve now? Shall I solve? Okay, done, right? So now I'm going to tell you how do we solve this problem. But no one has written me the structures. What about the structure? What about the structure? Okay, so we solve this question now. What we get is phosphorus in the middle, 4 oxygen and 3 hydrogen. So hydrogen. Easy. Then I have to join them also. So I've joined all. Right? I've joined all. Then I have to satisfy valency also. Hydrogen satisfied, done. Oxygen done. Oxygen done. Hydrogen done. This is not done. Then phosphorus. Phosphorus valency is 1, not 1, 3, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Phosphorus is also done now. In phone we can't write a structure. Okay. Okay, so now what happens is also. So hydrogen got 1, oxygen has got 6. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hydrogen got 1, oxygen got 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then phosphorus. Phosphorus has got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oxygen has got 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oxygen got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hydrogen got 1. Then we'll circle them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? So now what happens is, I want to write, first question was structure. So I plotted a structure. Second one was lone pair. So how many lone pair total? 8 lone pair. Third question was how many sigma bond pair? So sigma bond pair means each line will have one sigma. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it has got 7 sigma bond pair. It has got 7 sigma bond pair. Then the next question, pi bond. How many pi? 1 pi bond pair. Done. Structure name. The structure name I'll tell you. Compound name is phosphoric acid. The structure name I've not taught you till now. Okay. Compound name, I can tell compound is phosphoric acid. Okay. The structure name we are going to do now. Okay. So what happens is, same the same. Okay. So now what happens is, to find out the structure, till this we can do, right? Then what happens, we'll find out the value of something called hybridization. State, which is also denoted by HS. To find hybridization state, what I should find? I will find two things. Number of sigma bond pair plus number of lone pair. Two things. What are those things? First thing is sigma bond pair, as well as second thing is lone pair. Two things I will find out, and I have done sigma bond pair, I have done, as well as the lone pair. So these two things I will add. Then what happens? When you add, you will get some values. Those values are written here. HS. Then I will say, if you have HS, then I will say hybridization. Once there is a hybridization, then next thing we'll talk about is called shape. Or we'll call it as electronic geometry, more precise. Electronic geometry. And then we'll talk about shape. Okay. So 4 column table will make. Okay. So Nikhil has drawn the structure, but his oxygen hydrogen bonds are not to the same hydrogen. One hydrogen is not even having a bond. So minimum value you will get 2. So hybridization, how do you write hybridization state also? That is also you need to understand. There are 2. So you should write 2 values, but not in digit y. You will write in a s and p orbitals y. So s, p. 1 s orbital power, 1 p orbital power. Total how many power? 2 power. So 2. If you have hybridization sp, the electronic geometry will come as linear. Then its shape will also come as linear when 0 lone pair. Okay. When zero lone pair. Okay. Then what happens is next. Its shape is still, this is linear only. This is linear, but when one lone pair is present. It means what? Out of this two, you are getting one sigma bond pair and one lone pair. That is the case. Okay. Then the next value is 3. Next value is 3. Okay. If you have 3, then it is known as sp2. It is known as sp2. How do I say? There are 3 values, so I should write total 3 values. 1 here. So P only I will able to write 2. You can't do this. S2P. You can't do S2P. Who will tell me why not? Why can't I write S2P? Tell me. Who will tell me why I can't write S2P? All the people, all 45 people, why can't I write S2P? Who will tell me? Since S has only got one orbital, is correct. Is correct. S has got only one. P has got 3. That's it. Out of 3, I can use 2. That's why the reason. sp2. When you have hybridization state sp2, the electronic geometry will come as trigonal planar. One more point. If you do not, whenever lone pair is 0, whenever lone pair is 0, its electronic geometry is same as its shape. Whenever lone pair is 0, its electronic geometry is same as its shape. Okay. So trigonal planar. Next I'm writing if trigonal planar. If I'm writing, that means it has got 0 lone pair. But if you have one lone pair, then its shape becomes band shape. Its shape becomes band shape. And if you get 2 lone pair, it becomes linear shape. It becomes linear shape. If you memorize this, then you don't even have to draw the diagram. You can simply write same, provided you memorize exactly how I'm writing it. Then 4. 4 is, so what is the hybridization I should write for 4? Tell me. For 4, what is the hybridization I should be writing now? Right, so I should write sp3. Once you have sp3, then we have tetrahedral. Tetrahedral. So here also I write first one as tetrahedral, 0 lone pair. Then tetrahedral. If you have one lone pair, it is known as pyramidal. It is known as pyramidal. If you have 2 lone pair, it is known as band shape. And if you have 1 lone pair, it is known as linear. It is known as linear till the last. It is known as linear. Okay. So now meanwhile you copy. Okay. And tell me all things. Okay. For SO3. Tell me all things for SO3. Solve fast. You need to solve for SO3. Okay, done. What happened? Are you people not solving or what is the answer? Tell me what is the answer? Are you people solving? Band shape sp2. Okay, we see now. So sulfur, oxygen, oxygen, oxygen. The answer is incorrect. Narayan Krishnan, answer is incorrect. Satyanarayan Satya, answer is incorrect. Both the answers are incorrect. Those people, two people have tried. Remaining 44 people. sp3d2 hybridization, which I did not even teach. If I have not taught you something, I won't ask you a question based on what I have not taught you. That is normal common sense. This is correct. sp2, geometry, trigonal, planar. Yes, that is correct. So we see sulfur, 3 bonds. Definitely I have to keep them, or it will be part of a molecule. Okay, so now oxygen valency is 2, so I have to join them like this only. Now once I do this, I can have some value such as this sulfur has 6 electron? All 6 are there. So there is no lone pair. There are oxygen lone pair. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But when I want to total how many sigma bond pair? 3 sigma bond pair. 1 sigma, 1 sigma, 1 sigma. How many lone pair? Now this lone sigma bond pair you are counting for the sulfur. You will always count it for central atom. The plus. So lone pair is also counted for central atom only. It means at central atom is there any lone pair? No. 0 lone pair. So total value 3 plus 0, 3. 3 gets you sp2. sp2 is trigonal planar. So now you should also able. How many lone pair? 0 lone pair. So once you know 0 lone pair, you will write trigonal planar geometry. Then you will say, because it has 0 lone pair, its geometry, its shape is also trigonal planar. But if I tell you one more deeper point, you can be able to memorize. I'll draw trigonal planar. How trigonal planar looks like? Trigonal planar looks like this. This angle is 120 degree. This angle is 120 degree. This angle is 120 degree. And how do I say trigonal planar? How do I say trigonal? Because when you join them, it will form a triangle. And all 4 atoms are in plane. That's why it is known as trigonal planar. Understand? The next question is SO2. Tell me about SO2 now. Fast. You don't have much time. Do it for SO2. Are you people trying for SO2 or not? sp2. Narayan Krishna, your answer is incorrect. Nikhil, your answer is incorrect. Anand Raju, your answer is incorrect. Amog, your answer is incorrect. Anand Kumar, your answer is incorrect. Whoever name are not talked about, their answers are correct. Okay? If you are wondering. Okay, so I will solve this also then. I'll erase this, okay? Okay, so we got SO2. To draw SO2, sulfur, 2 oxygen. One thing is I have to join them. But then oxygen valency is 2. So one more line. Then we'll talk about pair, right? So sulfur has 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oxygen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Basically, when I want to find HS value, there is no use to finding out them. There is no use, right? Because they are not able to count anywhere. If a question is specifically asking you, tell me total number of lone pair, then it is advisable to find it for oxygen remaining surrounding atoms. But if they are not asking, simply they are asking HS value, you need to only do for central atom, okay? So central atom has got how many lone pair, how many sigma bond pair? 2 sigma bond pair plus 1 lone pair, right? 1 lone pair, total 3 sp2 trigonal planar. But in this case it has got 1 lone pair, 1 lone pair. So now, Syam, this way. So now if you have trigonal planar, sp2 trigonal planar but 1 lone pair, so I'll go to list. Trigonal planar, sp2, trigonal planar, sp2, and in that case you get how many lone pair? You get 1 lone pair. So this line, this box is your answer. Directly without even drawing, you can write bent shape. You can write bent shape. You can write bent shape. But if you will ask me, sir, what is logic? So logic is this. Sulfur, this was supposed to be bond because it's a trigonal planar, so I will draw trigonal planar geometry. But then I got atom oxygen 2, so I kept 2 there. But then it is not there because there is what? There is one lone pair. So you will keep a lone pair. Okay, when you keep this problem, then what happens? When you find out the shape, you have to cover this. Then you have to look. What does it look like? It looks like a rod broken into like this banded shape. So band shape. It has got so many names. Band shape, V shape. It is also a V shape. Also angular shape. It is like an angle. Understood? So this has got 3 names. But I should not able to do all this. I could directly write, provided if I remember the table. Understand? Easy. Any doubt till now? If you have any doubts, you can tell me. Then we'll proceed. Any doubt till now? Tell me, but any doubts anywhere? Okay, so next one. Next one I will solve easy. Okay, next one is very, very easy. Do for this. Do for this. Do for what is this compound? This compound is CH4. CH4 is known as methane. Solve fast. sp3 tetrahedral, 0 lone pair. It is easy, right? Well, we keep carbon, hydrogen, 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. Carbon valence shell 4 are there, 0 lone pair. So 4 sigma bond pair plus 0 lone pair, total value 4, 4 sp3. Geometry is tetrahedral as it got 0 lone pair. Its shape is also tetrahedral. Now I'll show you tetrahedral molecule. This is a tetrahedral molecule. Now in case of tetrahedral molecule, this black one, assume this is carbon. Zoom in. Jump. This carbon, this black one is carbon. Okay. Now this carbon has got 4 hydrogens. So there are 4 hydrogen. I'll hold it. Okay. The 1 hydrogen I'm holding, second, third, and the 4th at the back. 4th at the back. Okay. This is tetrahedral molecule. But what is the beauty about tetrahedral molecule is it is 3D molecule. It is no more planar because you will not find atoms in the same plane. If you look very closely, if I take a plane, something like this. So this plane will go in the bottom 3 atoms. So bottom 3 atoms are in one plane. But then this atom, the black one carbon, is not in the plane. Is not in the plane because this is one plane. You need another plane. 2 plane. And this is another plane. So this basically there are three different planes or it is 3-dimensional molecule. So it's a 3D molecule. Okay, now what happens? The beauty about tetrahedral is the way if I hold here, I can hold from here, still it will be a tetrahedral. And this geometry also stays the same. Geometry also stays the same. Listen again. I can hold from any side. It will again behave as a tetrahedral, right? Now one more interesting thing for here is, what are the interesting thing is this. What are the, such as this bond if I want to plot, I can't plot like this because some atoms are coming outside, right? So what we do is, we draw carbon, hydrogen, one more longer line and 2 more lines equal to the length of this, H. Like this we draw. That means what? This angle is 109 degree, 28 minutes. This angle is also 109 degree, 28 minutes. This angle is also 109 degree, 28 minutes. There are not only 3, total there are 6. This is also 109. This is also 109. This whole is also 109. So now I'll tell you how many are here in this case. From here we can count. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 from this. Now 4, 5 and back side 6. So there are total 6 bond angle of 109 degree, 28 minutes. And we can hold from any side. Understood? Now, the next compound. Any doubt till now? Any doubt till now? The next compound is NH3. Next compound is ammonia, NH3. This. Okay, so I'll erase all of this remaining. Try to solve that one. What is the shape? Yes, the correct answer is sp3, pyramidal. Now in this case, if you don't know the structure also, with this help of this table we can get the answer. So nitrogen, 3 hydrogen, 1, 2, 3, nitrogen nitrogen valence electron are 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can say 3 sigma bond pair plus 1 lone pair, total value 4. 4 gets you sp3, sp3 gets you tetrahedral. Now if it has got 1 lone pair, then which line? Decide. Now tetrahedral, sp3 tetrahedral, but I don't have 0 lone pair, I got 1 lone pair. So 1 lone pair, the answer is pyramidal. You don't need to draw, directly you can write answer. Answer is pyramidal. But if you want logic, here is a logic. H, lone pair, and you can draw them something like this. It will become a trigonal plane. Now you see in this diagram, this is tetrahedral, but I don't want one more atom. I got only 3 atoms, 3 hydrogen. Nitrogen is there, but I don't have 4 hydrogen. I got 3 hydrogen, so it means I need to remove 1 hydrogen. So I disconnect 1 hydrogen. Once I do this, now this structure looks like a pyramid. You have seen Mr. Pyramid? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And top. Something like this. If I hold like this. 1, 2, 3. It is not trigonal planar. It is not trigonal planar. Trigonal planar happens when you push this atom inside the plane. Then only it will be planar. But right now it is not no planar. It is pyramidal. So you see like this. Able to see pyramid. 1 layer. Here 1 layer. Another second layer. And backside 3rd layer. So it becomes a pyramid. Okay. Done. Now. So this is all about till 4. Now we'll do little bit more. Okay. We have some more to do. Any doubt till now? So ammonia is pyramidal, okay? Ammonia is pyramidal. So now we'll do one more at the last for this. Water. Do it for this. This is a very important compound. For chemistry also, for our life also. Do it for water. Right, the answer is sp3 tetrahedral 2 lone pair bent shape. Right? So if you solve here, if you look at here, this side only. This side only. So oxygen, hydrogen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can say what? I can say 2 sigma bond pair plus 2 lone pair. Total value 4. 4 gets you sp3. sp3 gets you tetrahedral. But it had got 2 lone pairs. So we have bent shape. Now in the diagram also I can show you. In this diagram you get 2 hydrogen. I am having 4 hydrogen. So what should I do? I should remove 2 hydrogen. So 1 I have removed. Once I have removed, it is not sufficient. I will remove 1 more. Now I got this. Now you see this shape. This looks like a V shape or bent shape. A rod is broken, bent or angle. You can see one angle, right? This shape is known as bent shape. So we can draw oxygen, hydrogen, hydrogen, one lone pair, one lone pair. This is bent shape. Is this molecule planar or non-planar? That you ask. Is this molecule planar or non-planar? Tell me, planar, non-planar? So the answer is incorrect. This molecule is planar. Is because whenever you want to find out whether it's planar or non-planar, we only look for atoms. We don't look for electrons. Atoms are here. So can you see in one plane all three atoms? All three atoms are in one plane, right? Or I can have one plane like this. That's why this whole water molecule is a planar molecule. It is tetrahedral geometry is non-planar, but bent shape is always planar. Bent shape is always planar because I can take this hole in like this also. You see, this is coming in one plane. This is coming all in one plane. So this molecule is planar molecule. Okay, you can rectify your doubts now. Understand? You can rectify your mistakes also. Now, this is non-planar because I can have maximum 3 atoms right now in one plane. 1 atom I cannot have in plane. That's why this molecule is non-planar. But if you remove this, now I can have all 3 atoms in one plane. Then it becomes a planar. Understood your problem? Clear? Can we proceed? Can we proceed further? Clear, right? Or you have doubts still? Okay, so now till 4 we have done. Now we go to 5 this side. Okay, 5. So 5 sp3. Can I write sp4? Can I write sp4? Can I write sp4 or not? Tell me. So what about the other hybridization? We are doing other hybridization. No? We can't write sp4 because p does not have 4 orbital. So now, but I need to write 5. So how do I write? So s is over, p is over, then you have d. Then you have d. Then you have d. So it becomes sp3d. Sometimes this is also known as dsp3. It is also known as dsp3. It is used for d block. This is used for p block. Electronic geometry is known as trigonal bipyramidal. It is known as trigonal bipyramidal. Its short form is TBP. Its short form is TBP. So when you have zero lone pair, it is TBP. Okay. If you have one lone pair, important. If you have one lone pair, its shape is known as seesaw. Its shape is known as seesaw. If you get two lone pair, its shape is known as T shape. Its shape is known as T shape. And if you get three lone pair, it is known as linear. It is known as linear. And you will not have four lone pair. Then after 5 we have 6, which is sp3d2 or d2sp3. Its shape is known as square bipyramidal. Another name is octahedral. Octahedral. So if you have zero lone pair, its shape is octahedral. Both names are same. But if you have one lone pair, its shape is known as square pyramidal. There is a difference. Here there is a word called bi. There is no bi here. This is two pyramidal, this is single pyramidal, square pyramidal. And if you get two lone pair, it is known as square planar. More than two lone pair you will not have at all. Then we have got next is 7 sp3 d3 or d3 sp3. It is known as pentagonal bipyramidal or PBP. If you have got zero lone pair, its shape is known as PBP, pentagonal bipyramidal. If you have one lone pair, it is known as distorted octahedral. And more than one lone pair you will not have. Now, have you understood the theory completely? Any doubt in theory till now? Okay, so now question. If you have done this correctly, everything, you will get marks in chemical bonding chapter in the exam. But if you also, vice versa is also true. But if you are not able to solve this question correctly, there is a very high probability you will not get marks in the exam in chemical bonding chapter. Solved? Right, two people have given the correct answer. Those names are Darshan and Narayan. One more, Santoshi is correct. Samia also correct. Hemal is also correct. That's all. How many people more? Okay, that's all. Only 5-6 people have given correct answer. Remaining people, Satyanarayan is also correct. Okay, so I'll solve now this question also.
Xenon, F, F, F and F. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fluorine valency is 1.
Then xenon valence electron 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we get 4 sigma bond pair plus 2 lone pair, total value 6, sp3d2, octahedral, 2 lone pair, which makes it as square. Easy? Right. Okay. So next now. Okay, so this once we finish this, then we'll do. Now something we'll do for coordinate bond, okay? Coordinate bond. So if you want to draw NH4 plus, okay? This all about till now covalent bond. Now we are talking about coordinate bond. If you want to draw NH4 plus, then what happens is, sir, is D2sp3 only for D block? Yes, try to do for D2sp3 only for D block till I'm not telling you anything, okay? Yes, then. Now what happens is, this product is formed when NH3 combines with an H plus to form NH4 plus. That's how ammonium ion is formed, okay? Once I have ammonium ion, now in ammonium ion what is happening? Initially I was having ammonia, then H plus, so we'll draw ammonia structure. Ammonia structure can be drawn like this. Pyramidal geometry. Then H plus. Then what happens is, H plus has vacant orbital. H plus has got vacant orbital. Whereas ammonia and nitrogen has got lone pair. So this lone pair is shared among H plus via coordinate bond. So we draw N, H, H, one coordinate bond sign. Coordinate bond is plotted by an arrow, not simply by a line. Coordinate bond is plotted by an arrow from a donor atom to an acceptor atom, and the whole gets positive charge. Okay, so must have condition, must have one lone pair. Those molecule or those atoms which have one lone pair must have vacant orbital. It could be s orbital, p orbital, d orbital, any orbital. It must have one lone pair, must have vacant orbital. So this if you have lone pair, it becomes Lewis base, also known as donor atom. This becomes loose acid, also known as acceptor. Then an arrow is plotted from donor to acceptor atoms. An arrow is plotted from donor to acceptor atoms, and wherever coordinate bond is required, so coordinate bond is drawn from satisfied atom to unsatisfied atom. Satisfied atom to unsatisfied atom, always coordinate bond is plotted. Now the example we'll see. Let's take a case of HNO3. Draw the structure of HNO3. Are you able to draw HNO3 structure? How many people are able to draw? So okay, now I'll solve this question. So what happens is nitrogen at the center, oxygen, 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 one side, any side, anywhere, hydrogen. Okay? So now join them, trying to join. But then here is a problem. What is the problem? The problem here is that this oxygen got satisfied, but when I drawing these two oxygen are not satisfied. But if I try to draw a bond, the nitrogen valency is getting unsatisfied. So what we do, I don't draw here. I connect only this. If I do this, this oxygen satisfied, this oxygen satisfied, hydrogen satisfied, nitrogen, everything is satisfied. And what about this nitrogen? It has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One lone pair. Whereas this oxygen is unsatisfied. Whereas this oxygen is unsatisfied, this nitrogen is satisfied. As this nitrogen is satisfied atom, it has got one lone pair, but its oxygen is unsatisfied. It has got 6 electron. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Its octet is not satisfied because it requires 2 electrons. So nitrogen does what? A coordinate bond is plotted from this nitrogen to the oxygen, giving out that 2 electron. When it gives out that 2 electron, this oxygen has got 2 electrons, so this oxygen becomes satisfied. So, and a coordinate bond is plotted from a satisfied atom to unsatisfied atom. Understood this point also? Okay, so that's all about coordinate bond. Then we have something called ionic bond now. Now we'll do for ionic bond. Okay, so next one is ionic bond, which happens via transfer of electron. A complete transfer of electron takes place. A complete transfer of electron takes place, such as NaCl. You need to have only those compounds where ionic bond exists. You can't have all the compounds which I gave in the beginning, metal and non-metal. Sodium is a metal, Cl is a non-metal. This only case ionic bond exists. So when you break this compound, you get Na plus Cl minus. In the beginning there was no Na plus, because if you want to go to market and you buy sodium metal comes in Na solid, chlorine comes in Cl2 gas. You need to have this much. So what happens is, this Na gas solid is converted into Na gas. From Na gas it is converted into Na plus. Okay. Now in the case of what is the difference between this is called ionization energy, because if you write electronic configuration 281, here it is 28, whereas this will convert into Cl atom, Cl gaseous atom, then it will convert into Cl minus gas. This is 287, 288. My question to you is, what happened to that electron? What happened to that electron? And now this is 28. It was 7. What happened to 7 to 8? What happened to 1? So the answer is this one electron has been transferred to 7. So 0. This becomes 8. 28 and 288. Why you transfer? You are not going to tell this electron go from here, come here. You are not going to tell this electron. And if you tell them also, they are not going to listen to you. Okay. The point happens, they happens automatically. Then what is the driving force between them? If they are happening automatically, this reaches to neon inert gas configuration. By doing this, because inert gas configuration is a very stable configuration, so they want to gain stability. In order to gain stability, sodium donates one electron and becomes neon inert gas configuration. So because of increasing stability, this process happens automatically, and this reaches to argon inert gas configuration. So ionic bonds are formed when individual atoms forms respective cation and anion in order to get inert gas configuration. Now which inert gas configuration? Whichever is nearest. Whichever is nearest. Chlorine belongs to third period. So it goes to third period inert gas this side, because chlorine is here, argon is here. Okay. Whereas sodium is here. It is also in third period, but this is very far to the argon. But it is very near to one step above second period, this side. Neon gas. Because if you look atom number wise, this is 10, this is 18, this is 17, this is 11. 11 is much near to 10, 17 is much near to 18. So in the exam they can also ask you that chlorine atom will go to which inert gas configuration. in order to form ionic bond. Understand this point? Okay. Once I get this, then we have to form a compound formation, such as Ca will form Ca2 plus, Cl will form Cl minus. Then if you want to form a compound formation, 2 will go here, 1 will go there. This is called cross multiplication, and we'll have a compound called Ca, Cl2, Ca, Cl2. The same thing like happens something like this. Aluminium 3 and SO4 2 minus. Okay, so 3 goes there, 2 goes there. We'll have Al2 SO4 whole thrice. Understand? Al2 SO4 whole thrice. So this is known as aluminium sulfate. So they can ask valency. Aluminium electrovalency is 3. Sulfate electrovalency is 2. I told you that it should be a metal and non-metal. So metal and non-metal. This is metal. This is a combination of non-metal. So directly metal and non-metal, or metal and combination of non-metals are possible. Okay. Any other doubt? Now, any doubt? Okay, so now module 5. In module 5, the exercise, second chapter, chemical bonding, and the exercise is present on page number 59. It has got total 45 problems. Try to solve 45 problems. We'll continue in the next class. And if you solve, if you have doubts, tomorrow in the next class, I am able to clear all your doubts. Okay? Understood? So please solve this module. This is a very important chapter. One question will definitely come, and it will basically come on the shape, not on geometry. It will come on shape of a molecule. Okay? So the thing which I taught, try to utilize them, and you can read NCERT also, any other book. Whichever doubts you are having, you find all your doubts in chemical bonding chapter, and you can ask me in the next class. Okay? Done? Okay. Thank you all. Study hard. Okay? We'll meet in the next class. Thank you very much.